Children become aware of writing and distinguish it from scribbling. They make no connections between letters. Instead, they write what they have seen. One or more letters are written to represent a word. Children become aware of the sounds associated to letters. The left to right principle is understood. Sentences are written in one long line with the child being able to understand what they have written, but not a teacher. Letters are assigned as they are heard. Words appear to be invented, but are phonetically correct. And word spacing becomes consistent. In this stage, the rules of written language appear, capitalization and punctuation as well. Vowels are used in every syllable. For example, letter will be written with ER at the end instead of just R. Students may also become reluctant to use words that they don't know how to spell correctly, hence limiting their vocabulary. Self-initiated proofreading starts to appear. Students start to think about what they are writing. Knowledge of prefixes, suffixes, irregular words, compound words, and complex sentences are utilized. As well, the vocabulary for students is expansive. Some writers cannot transpose individual sounds to letters. Their minds seem not to understand or attain the subtle differences between sounds. If auditory confusion is the cause of spelling difficulties, most letters in the words students write will follow correct English spelling patterns, but the word itself cannot be pronounced. Students who have visual inattention hear sounds distinctly but cannot remember how these sounds are written in words. Students spell incorrectly because they over-extrapolate or violate the rules of English spelling patterns by extending a rule into a situation for which it is not valid. A student will substitute a homonym for a word they intended to write. For example, they might substitute bear for bear in reference to an empty drawer. Students have such poor handwriting that letters cannot be distinguished, hence no pattern can be recognized.
Okay. I do think technology has played a major role in the decay of spelling in the students because, I mean, since the whole integration of spell check into our society, anybody can get through language assignments, essays, resumes by just doing spell check. And I think the art of searching through dictionaries and thesaurus and trying to find your own, um, trying to figure out your own uh, increase your own knowledge of spelling is just given to the computer now, or towards autocorrect on your phones, or T9. As well, the level of acronyms that have gone up since technology has been integrated, like LOL, ROFL, like BRB, has also played a role. And in that, I think that grammar punctuation has also been affected too because of technology.
I personally think that the use of technology has definitely played a role in the decay of spelling. I think that students use spell check and rely on it, and therefore have focused less on the actual art of learning how to spell.
I do not think spelling has led to the decay, or technology has led to the decay of spelling in students. I think that they're still spelling and interacting, so I still think that they're learning something and learning how to spell.
So when I do spell check, I tend to just usually click and pick a word. Yeah, I think that's what I wanted to say. I don't even really think about it twice.
Alright, so when I use spell check, the first thing I do is I look for any red squiggly underlines. For example, in Word, I check in, see, pick the word that I want, and I'm pretty much good. I read it myself again, but oftentimes I don't even realize I spell a word wrong. So if I type out a word, try to get as close to it as possible, choose a word that looks right, and pick it. If you ask me to write something down again, that's when it's a little more trickier, but I just choose the word that looks the best, the most right.
When I use spell check, I rarely actually go to the spell check feature. I just look at that little underlined thing and I try to fix it myself, like either doubling up a consonant or not, or changing my vowel, or just looking at my spelling. I only actually go to the spell check as a last resort if I've tried 3 things and for some reason, like that little word in lieu of, I get the I, E, U mixed up kind of thing, but I try to fix it on my own.
A couple of weeks ago on the show, we talked about the idea of the outboard brain. You know, that we have so much stuff to remember now that we just store it on our cell phones or computers or online, and we call it up when we need it. It used to be that the limit on information you could keep around was physical. You could only have so many pieces of paper before you'd run out of places to sit. But with digital information, you can store it ad infinitum. So if the problem of keeping track has changed from how I remember to how do I find,
If the idea of an outboard brain holds true, then what do I need to teach my students? Is there more value in knowledge of spelling or in the skill of managing one's outsourced memory? Has the line disappeared where my memory leaves off and Google picks up? An interesting opinion found online was the main difference between the approach to strong spelling skills of decades past and today is that the old approach found fault with those who couldn't spell well, while the modern approach finds an arbitrary and unnecessary excellence in those who do. Strong fundamental language skills are considered impressive rather than required. I personally feel that strong fundamental language skills are required for all students up to their level of comprehension and ability. Simply deferring to technology to spell correctly will inevitably hinder an individual in situations where such tools are not available. I believe that it is a slippery slope for our society when a core competency for all peoples is allowed and accepted to diminish.
What about it?
Can you spell ubiquitous for me?
Ubiquitous.
Ubiquitous.
Oh.
Would you like me to use it in a sentence?
Yeah, could you use it in a sentence, please?
The amount of spelling mistakes among students is ubiquitous.
Okay. Ubiquitous. U D I Q U O D O U S.
Ubiquitous.
Drunkenness.
Yes.
I can't act it. I wouldn't be able to
No,
act that.
no, no.
But
Can
I'd
you
say
spell it?
DRUNKEN. Their disequilibrium.
Oh, oh.
I don't think it's a double N. ESS.
It is a double N.
It is a double N.
Yeah,
Makes
that's
sense.
why I chose the word.
DRUNKENESS.
DRUNKENESS.
DISEMINATIO.
Ambidextrous. Well, I know that means being able to use your right and left hand,
Yes.
so I am an educator of the future. AMBIDEXT. Ambidextre. I don't know if it's an E or not an E. ROUS.
Ding! Got it correct.
Ambidextrous. AMBIDEXTROUS.
Well, hi, Kristen. This is really good to be on your podcast today. I don't know who's looking at this, but hello, everyone.
J'ai 15 ans, qu'est-ce que je fais? Qu'est-ce que je fais? Je m'arrête ou je continue? J'ai 15 ans, où j'en suis? À la fin ou au début? Stop, encore. Je passe le bac ou je deviens cloche. Je vais en fac ou au cinoche. Je prends la porte où je me supporte. Je fume du hache ou des gauloises. Je fais des gars.